Ragnarocktoberfest 2023. Very interesting. Very interesting coming back to an event for the first time in however many years, since 2019. A strange lull, at least on my end. It seems like there's been a lot of changes. A lot of changes in the hobby, a lot of changes in the community in the last couple of years. It was nice to get back to it. I was fortunate to receive an invitation from Michelle and Addie from Foam Blast, formerly from Foam Blast rather, if I wanted to stay with them at their Airbnb. I had originally not counted on going, and chances are if she had not extended the invitation, I may not have gone, but that was enough to kind of push me over the edge and say, you know what, this would be a good opportunity to kind of get back into the swing of things, get to see everybody again finally, and it was really good. So I ended up flying out Thursday morning before the event, and got there fairly early. Panda from Australia, who was helping with the organization of the event, hello, picked me up from the airport and took me back to the hotel, kind of where not everybody, but a majority of people were were staying, and because Michelle and Addie weren't going to be in town until I think closer to 3 o'clock, at least later in the afternoon, and so I kind of needed a place to land because the Airbnb wasn't available yet. So I was able to drop my bags off with Panda and Pandemonium, sorry, and come to find out, Walcom S7 was staying with him, and who Walcom was sleeping in after his flight. So Panda and I hung out for a little bit. Walcom came out later, and it was really cool to have just kind of a nice, quiet lead into the event when there's not a whole lot of hubbub going on, and we just kind of hung out in the little courtyard there in the hotel for, probably like an hour or so, and it was really cool. It was really cool just have some quiet time before things got all crazy. Went out to lunch, went back to the hotel, just kind of hung out, went through blasters and stuff. I kind of showed some stuff that I brought. Then later on, after we did that, Michelle and Addie got into town, and so I got over to the Airbnb. I found out shortly ahead of time as well that Banshee Indian, who is a cosmetic modder that wasn't that familiar with, was going to be, him and his wife are staying with us as well, and so that's kind of a cool, a cool opportunity to meet them. Him and his wife are super cool. I'm actually really glad I got to meet them. Many thank yous are in store for them as the story progresses. It's really cool. Had a nice, pretty mellow evening for the most part. Hung out with them. Milan of Devil's Nerf Works and his girlfriend came by and enjoyed dinner with us as well, and kind of geared up for the event to start up the next day. Then Friday morning was the expo, Blaster Expo, I think is what they called it. The convention part of things was really cool. It was really cool. I wish I took more pictures. I took a few pictures really before people had really had things set up, and so it's just like a whole bunch of tables. But it was really cool to have the expo part of things, with all the vendors in the same room as the Mard Party itself. I don't know if anybody ever posted maps, but the convention was kind of in the middle of this high school gym, and a bunch of empty tables were along the sides, and that's where the Mod Party stuff was. So basically you could just pull up a table and work on whatever you needed to work on. The back of the gym had kind of a shooting gallery thing across the back, just a couple target things set up. It was all taped off, little table on this side. Really cool. I really hope they stick with that in the future. It was really cool to have kind of so many aspects of the hobby all together. The idea of being able to buy the last few parts you might need, or to buy a blaster, be able to test it out, work on stuff. It's really cool. That was really cool. I enjoyed that. The event went really good. Got to meet a lot of people. I don't know what was so different about this event from previous, unless it's just more people are exposed to the hobby. Met a number of really cool people. My table obviously wasn't quite as popular as the ones giving out free stickers or selling really cool things or stuff like that. But the people that did come by, I think it was a very, very worthwhile conversations. Got to meet a fellow by the name of Icarus, who showed me all kinds of cool things that he had. We got talking about, I don't remember what started the conversation, but he's like, yeah, I've got one of those. Disappears for a minute. Comes back. Hey, I've got this thing. Look at this cool thing. Hey, that's really cool. Guess what? Disappears. Comes back. Shares something else. Really cool. Really cool fella. Got to meet a number of people. So many names I forgot or did not ask because I was just talking to people. Lightning Eagle. You came by and I was going to talk to you, but somebody else was there. I tried to catch up with you later, but I never found you again. So, hi, thanks for stopping by. I'll catch up with you next time. One that was super cool was sitting there going through stuff. This gal comes walking by, and she's kind of carrying this raven. Or not a raven, a lynx. Super crazy looking lynx. And she's kind of not showing it off, but obviously presenting it. And I was like, that is really cool. Can I look at that? And I'm looking at this thing, and it was a lynx that took straight talons, but they're angled aggressively, and the dart pusher thing was articulated, so it would come down and pull the darts up. Crazy town. So our name tag as Refi. Refi Random was fairly active in the nerf Reddit when I first started in the hobby, and was always making cool stuff. We're talking like dual stage, multi-stage, brushless Raven stuff before brushless was really the norm or not a surprise in the hobby. Really cool stuff, beautiful work. So it's really cool to see somebody who is, to my knowledge, kind of disappeared from the hobby, or at least took a lower profile for a while. But really cool. It was really cool to meet you. Thanks for sharing that Raven again. I'm going to have to make one of my own because it is just so darn cool. I appreciate everybody who stopped by just to have a talk, pick things up, play with them a little bit. Really cool. Really cool. Really, that part of things is really my favorite of the events, just because you get to actually sit and talk with people for a while, and you're not running around trying to not die or whatever, and the heat isn't super oppressive and stuff like that because you're inside. Really great. That was really nice. I really enjoyed that. Joined a group after the event for some Afghan food. That was a new one. Never had Afghan food. Lots of lamb. Pretty good stuff, though. That was a surprise. Really enjoyed that. Kind of nice. The restaurant owners were kind enough to let us hang out for a while later than we probably should have, but they were pretty good sports about it, and that was really cool. Definitely would recommend if I could remember what the heck the place was called. If you happen to remember, go ahead and comment and make that available for other people in the San Jose area if they're interested. Next day was Stalking Dead. Really cool, really well done game story thing. I hope that there's more people who took footage, whether like GoPro type footage or at least some camera type stuff. I'm hoping we see some actual gameplay footage posted from other people. I wish I would have taken more pictures, and I really need to get a better, actually a GoPro thing, that some kind of action cam that works, because that would, it was really cool. It was really, really well done. At least I thought so. A lot of things kind of went poorly as far as technical type stuff. But really cool. Really enjoyed. My back has really been freaking out. This last back surgery has not been going as well as I had hoped, and so I had to cut my playing short. I only got about an hour and a half, 2 hours in before my back was like, you know what, we are done. If you want to last the rest of the weekend, we got to stop. So I took more of a spectator position for the rest of the day, but was able to still be in amongst everybody and enjoy in kind of more of a third-person perspective. But really cool. It was nice to see the lengths to which the organizers went to create such an immersive experience for everybody. It's really cool. I hope that they are able to build on what they learned from this event and kind of compound that into the next one, because it was really cool. Despite some of the issues they did have, it was really cool. To put on an event of that size, that grandeur, I guess, is really quite impressive. Many thanks are in order to Banshee's wife, Courtney, who kept me supplied with ibuprofen to help me make it through the weekend. There was much pill taking to kind of keep things under control so that I was not in a great deal of pain. So thank you again. Also, thank you for quickly supplying me an Uber when I was having a hard time getting the app on my phone, and also for little odds and ends here and there, breakfast things, and sandwich during the 5v5. Thanks again for momming me when you were not, when you did not have access to your own children, apparently. Also thanks to various people who I was able to get a ride from to and from events and out and about here and there and stuff as well. The 5v5 was very impressive. Just I aspire to have any kind of fitness like that sometime in my life. That was very impressive. It was cool to see the teams that did travel. The Singaporean group came out. That was really cool to see them throughout the event, and very impressive gameplay for a game type that they're not necessarily specialized in. I believe most of the Singaporean stuff is a little bit more CQB-ish, between the Quick Flag and number of kind of parking garage games and stuff that I've seen posted in the past. But it's cool to see with the 5v5 thing what has been built just from the hobby. It's not really something we've adapted necessarily as far as the actual competitive structure from any other shooting sports or anything that I'm aware of. But what Jane kind of built over the last number of years is just really impressive to see put into action, to the point where we're having teams putting together their own jerseys and everything, instead of just guys in street clothes having fun the way we generally nerf. Very aggressive play, though. I was fortunate to be able to kind of sit back and enjoy the show. I have to thank the teams of Dauntless and Red Tide. I borrowed your shade from time to time because the sun was pretty darn hot out there, and I got burned quite good. But so even if you didn't intend to let me borrow your shade, I stole your shade, so thank you. I also had the occasion to meet a fella from the Turlock group. I was wandering through the field, kind of heading over towards where the Superstock was, and this fella caught me, and we got to talking, and he organizes kind of casual games, stock type games in his area. So we got to talking a lot about game organization and just health of the hobby and stuff. That was really cool. A fellow by the name of Rich, I believe, and his wife Becky, I want to say. So thank you for the time that you spent just chatting a little bit. It was really cool, and really cool to meet you. It was kind of interesting. After the event, the 5v5, there was a little raffle thing before they, I think that was, yeah, it was before they did the final round of everything. One of the raffled items was quote-unquote an old Caliburn, and it was actually Banshee, who was staying with in the same Airbnb with me, actually won it, and he's walking off with it, and he's like, "This isn't going to fit in my luggage. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Oh, sure, okay, whatever. I don't have a Caliburn yet. That'd be kind of cool to have one of those." And got to looking at it, and it was kind of an oldie, and it was interesting what the significance would be to have kind of a burned out Caliburn donated to a raffle. So I was kind of scratching my head on that, and we kind of got back at the end of the night at the Airbnb, and we're kind of talking around about it, and had a lot of the hallmarks of an early generation Caliburn. Still had the metal plunger tube, printed RAM, a lot of the, I guess, shortcomings of early models. And we determined that it was possibly the second batch of printed Caliburns that Slug produced, as far as we can tell, within the first 20 to 25. So that was actually really cool to see a very early piece like that. I don't know if that was the significance to why it was donated, because it didn't prime and it was all wiggly and loose and stuff like that. And so it kind of prompted a bit of a discussion about just the advancements of the hobby in the last few years, of this Caliburn kind of being one of the first of the mass-produced, printed, competitive level type blasters and stuff, or I guess high FPS blasters at this competitive game, and just kind of the strides in the advancements of the hobby. It was really cool. Michelle talked me out of it because she has a lot of other early Slug stuff. But at that point, things kind of winded down. Hello, things had kind of winded down for the night, and everybody kind of got ready to leave in the morning. Ended up driving over to my flight didn't leave till late into the evening. Everybody else pretty much had to be out of the house before noon, so I Ubered over to the hotel. I figured, at the very least I might be able to catch some of the last few guys that are leaving, say goodbyes, stuff like that. Met up with Walcom again. So this weekend was kind of a weird Walcom sandwich, because he was flying out, heading his way, I think about an hour before me, heading to the airport at the same time. So we kind of hung out and talked, had some good recap of the event, and kind of brainstormed some ideas of, okay, we had this problem, but what if we did this, and this would be cool if this happened, and we just had some good discussions. It was really cool, and I appreciate your time that I was able to spend with you. Had some really nice barbecue. Holy cow, good barbecue right there before we headed to the airport, which could have been a bad situation, all things considered, but really good. Smoking pig barbecue, I believe. That was a good burger. We made our way to the airport, and ended up getting there, gosh, I think 2 o'clock or so. No, it was after 3. I think we got there, parked about 3:30 or 4 or whatever. He didn't fly out till 5 something. I didn't fly out till 6 something. So, we're hanging out talking, and we came across Casual Felon, who was the announcer for the 5v5. And, I talked to him a little bit there at the event, and he's just walking through the halls, and we're like, hey, so he came over, and we talked about podcasts and just evolution of the hobby, state of the hobby. Had some, it was really cool. It's really cool, good conversations there. It was good to see you again, Mr. Casual. And it was really kind of a cool, mellow way to kind of cruise out of the weekend, have some nice retrospective, introspection kind of thing, and then head home. But yeah, it was just it was a good weekend, and I think I've said it before in other recaps, but if you ever have the opportunity to go to one of these, national, international, even just large regional events, anything outside of your group, it's such a blessing to get out and just kind of rub shoulders with everybody, to get to see people that you never get to see, or the people that you rarely get to see. Get ideas about gameplay stuff. Met Boomstick Mods, Neil. Saw him at the expo convention thing. I'd never met him before. Had a little bit of a talk about some of the events they have over there, some of the equipment they use. It's just really cool because you get to, the nerf culture is so various. It's different coast to coast, country to country. So it's cool to talk to people about their local customs, and the size of the group, the games they play, how they play, rules that they use and stuff. It's just cool to get outside of your local group and just kind of get ideas, get perspectives on other things. It's just and also it's just kind of good, especially if you don't live in an area where you have a lot of active members or something, or if you're just on your own, you're just in a spare room or in a garage working on stuff. it's nice to rub shoulders with other people to kind of reassure yourself that you're not the crazy one. I guess it was kind of cool. There's a number of I would say nerf supportive significant others that I was able to come across and was able to meet, and just to see their perspective on, okay, cool, my husband, my whatever, they're not crazy, they're not weird. This is a thing you guys do. This is the context in which you do it, and it's often makes it easier for them to understand. Because sometimes being in this hobby is weird. We do a lot of weird things. We're very unconventional for the most part, and so sometimes it's good to know from your partner's perspective that you're not too weird. We are weird. We're a weird bunch, but we're not too weird or a bad weird. So, but it's just it's really good to see everybody again. I needed that. I'm sure that was going around. I'm sure everybody was about due for just playing, just nerfing, just as a community, just getting together the way we like to do. So if there's, I don't know, if you had any, like, if you attended the event and you had some cool experiences, feel free to kind of share them in the comments below. We'll kind of open it up for just kind of a, I don't know, just was there a special moment that stood out to you, or why do you go to these events and stuff, and just kind of what do these nerf events, these community involvement deals mean to you, and but we'll see how it goes from here. I appreciate everybody who's stuck with me for the last year or so. Things have been kind of dead, both in the YouTube video wise and the social media, Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that. Still had people kind of popping in once in a while and making comments on stuff or asking how things are going. I appreciate people that reached out to me and just said, hey, you've been quiet, is everything all right? I appreciate all of you who've been kind of keeping tabs on things, and we'll take it one step at a time, and just go from there. And we'll see you next time, whenever that is. Okay. Do you need a hug?